Racism is a serious problem that affects many students in South Korean schools. Racism can manifest in different ways, such as discrimination based on skin color, ethnicity, nationality, or language. In this section, we will explore some of the examples and causes of racism in South Korean schools, and how it impacts the students who experience it. One of the most common forms of racism in South Korean schools is based on skin color. Students who have darker skin, especially those who have a parent from an African or Southeast Asian country, are often bullied and excluded by their peers. They are called derogatory names, such as blackie, monkey, or dirt. They are also subjected to physical violence, such as being hit with a hair curler or having their hair cut off. Some of these incidents are inspired by scenes from movies or dramas that depict school violence, such as The Glory. Another form of racism in South Korean schools is based on ethnicity or nationality. Students who have a parent from a non-Korean country, especially those who are not considered ideal by Korean standards, such as Russia, China, or the Philippines, are also discriminated against by their classmates. They are seen as inferior, dirty, or untrustworthy. They are also mocked for their accents, appearance, or cultural background. They are often isolated and ignored by their classmates, who prefer to play with monoethnic Korean students. A third form of racism in South Korean schools is based on language. Students who speak a different language at home, such as English, Spanish, or Arabic, are also targeted by their peers. They are ridiculed for their pronunciation, grammar, or vocabulary. They are also accused of showing off or being arrogant. They are sometimes forced to speak only Korean at school, even if they are not fluent or comfortable with it. These forms of racism in South Korean schools reflect the prejudices and stereotypes that exist in the wider Korean society. One of the reasons for this is the lack of exposure and education about diversity and multiculturalism. Many Koreans grow up in very homogeneous environments, where they rarely interact with people from different backgrounds and cultures. They also learn from a young age that Korea is a single-race nation, and that Koreans are superior to other races. This creates a sense of nationalism and ethnocentrism that fuels racism and xenophobia. Racism in South Korean schools has a negative impact on the students who experience it. It lowers their self-esteem and confidence. It causes them to feel lonely and depressed. It affects their academic performance and attendance. It also makes them question their identity and belonging. Some of them try to hide or deny their backgrounds, while others try to fit in or stand out. Some of them even resort to self-harm or suicide. Racism in South Korean schools is a serious issue that needs to be addressed urgently. It violates the human rights and dignity of the students who experience it. It also harms the social cohesion and harmony of the school community. It prevents the students from developing their full potential and talents. To end racism in South Korean schools, we need to change the attitudes and behaviors of the students, teachers, parents, and society at large. We need to promote respect and appreciation for diversity and multiculturalism. We need to educate ourselves and others about the history and culture of different races and ethnicities. We need to create a safe and supportive environment for all students to learn and grow together. Bullying is a serious problem that affects many students in South Korea. It can have devastating consequences for the victims, perpetrators, and bystanders. In this section, we will explore how bullying impacts these groups in different ways. Victims of bullying are those who are repeatedly harmed by others through physical, verbal, or psychological means. They may suffer from physical injuries, emotional distress, isolation, low self-esteem, depression, or suicide. According to a government report, suicide has been the #1 cause of death among adolescents in South Korea for 8 consecutive years. Some victims may also drop out of school or avoid higher education due to the trauma of bullying. Perpetrators of bullying are those who intentionally hurt others to gain power, status, or satisfaction. They may have underlying issues such as family problems, academic pressure, or personality disorders. They may also face negative outcomes such as legal consequences, social rejection, guilt, or remorse. Some perpetrators may continue to engage in violent or antisocial behavior in adulthood if they do not receive proper intervention. Bystanders of bullying are those who witness or know about the bullying but do not intervene or help the victims. They may have various reasons for their inaction, such as fear of retaliation, indifference, or conformity. They may also experience negative effects such as anxiety, helplessness, or guilt. Some bystanders may become victims or perpetrators themselves if they are influenced by the bullying culture. Bullying is not only a problem for individuals but also for society as a whole. It can damage the social and moral fabric of schools and communities. It can also reduce the human potential and productivity of future generations. Therefore, it is important to prevent and stop bullying in South Korea by creating a positive and supportive climate where everyone can respect and care for each other.